Frowny faces? Jack, how can you be frowning at that? That's my bit. I love that intro. You don't like that? Okay, that's kind of rough. All right. Well, before we get going, I'm going to ask if everybody can stay off of the stage area here. This stops people from blocking this display area. It gives me a little bit of room to move around the whole presenting thing, which makes Jack a sad boy. Wow, really? Very sad. Okay.
I'm excited for this.
You're excited for this?
Me
All right. Well, Drew's
too.
excited.
Yes.
We got Jack is sad. Bryson's excited. You know,
I'm
Hulkwood,
not
I don't know
doing
what
stuff.
Hulkwood's
I'm
doing.
just watching.
All right, cool. That's all are welcome, actually. And this event is actually for Oculus Quest users, but really all are welcome. So if you're on a device, feel free to hang. You might pick up some, information that's going to help our growing Quest community because we're getting a lot of Quest users in AllSpace.
Oh.
And yeah, if I can direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you can see at the very top of that is a microphone icon. When that microphone icon is clear, we can hear what's happening in your environment. So I'm going to go ahead right now and I'm going to turn that to red. And what that means is that you're all muted right now, which means if somebody comes into your play space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" We're not going to hear any of that. Or maybe you got a dog that starts barking, you won't face social ruin back to the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that started barking during its quest time. All right, now this event is primarily going to focus on how the quest performs in AllSpace. So if you're wondering whether or not Vader's actually immortal, or maybe your rhythm's gone off from Beat Saber, we could still talk about that stuff. That's cool. But we're mainly going to be focusing on how these devices best perform in AllSpace. And just so I get a quick idea of how you're all doing here, let me see. If you press on that pink cheek smiley face, right? Just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. So if I say something deep and meaningful up here, you can just, it starts to build up inside. You can just let it out and just let it flow. Just let it go out there like that. Maybe some backup dancers come out from backstage, right? We break into It's Quest Time the musical, and you're all very impressed. So you throw up the applause and I lift. I'm seeing a lot of head shaking there. No, this is a good thing. It's a good thing. You don't have the emoji panel. You do have the emoji panel. All right, well, let's see some. All right, if I ask a yes or no question, you can say yes by smiling. You can say no by frowning. If I say something or do something funny, like maybe I fall off the stage, you can start laughing like this with the silly faced emoji type thing. Now, if you raise your hand up like this is not the same as asking a question. This is to get my attention, to indicate something's wrong, like maybe my sound stopped and I'm waving my hands around. It looks like I'm talking, but I'm really not. Or maybe the display behind me's burst into flames. Don't laugh. That actually happened one time because my mods have a good sense of humor, and I made the mistake of giving them Terraformer into space, and then they set the screen on fire. I'm printing that in the future. But yeah, you also press the X to close the emoji panel. But it's a good idea to keep it open during events like this. This way it gives me feedback. It lets me know how I'm doing. But more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, they think that something's going on funny. You may not agree. You might be like, well, I'm going to go stand over here now because I don't agree with that. And you can do that. This is VR. You can stand wherever you want. So that's while we got these emoji panels open, let me get an idea. How many of you are on a quest right now? Let me see if you're on a quest. Show me some smiles. Some smiles if you're on a quest. Okay. That's a good bit of you. Very cool. How many of you are on a go but thinking about getting a quest? And then I some idea of what's involved with it. All right, cool. How many of you used to be on a go but you upgraded to a quest? Well, you changed to a quest, I should say. Anybody? Okay. How many of you are new to AllSpace? Like you haven't been a member very long? You're still starting out? All right, cool. How many of you recently got your quest? If you're a brand new quest user and you're like, what are these things in my hands? Anybody? All right, so we got some new ones. All right, cool. That gives me some idea how to set out. All right, cool. Thanks for that. Now, when I first got my quest, I'm coming from an Oculus Go. I've been on an Oculus Go for about 10 months, and I've been in AllSpace for most of that time. And I was, I was used to like everybody to see me with the one hand, right? And so I put a lot of emphasis on like when I was waiting for my quest to arrive, I kept thinking about, I'm finally going to get this left hand. See, I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to talking with my hands a lot like this. I keep talking with my hands. And I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could. When my quest arrived, I suddenly realized that these are so much more than hands, right? They're all your feet. They're how you interact with your environment, move around stuff. And if you're here today, you already know that moving your left thumbstick's going to move you around like this, and moving your right thumbstick's going to turn you around in circles. But, also you can combine them to make these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. And if everybody does this right now, I look out into the audience and it looks like ballroom dancing. Let me see what that looks like, everybody. Let me say everybody can start going in these big circles here. Big circles, I want to see them. And say, all right, cool. Very cool. All right, now when this happens, you guys are moving around in circles like that, I always say, I wish you guys could see what it looks like from up here. And now you can, because we just got a YouTube channel. So if you do a search for Ravenhall events on YouTube, you'll probably find us that way. If you want to, maybe turn around and wave at the camera, it's right up there. You see that Raven Eye up there? Everybody turn around and wave at the camera. Hey, camera, YouTube, what's up, good YouTube people? How you doing? All right, let's give them a Brooklyn hello if you know how to do your hand gestures already. If you've already been here before and you can do that, go out there and say hello to YouTube. All right, cool, everybody. Now we all feel like we're all space famous. And that's a good thing to be. All right, now, when I first got my device, though, and I took a look at these controls, man, those are a lot of buttons. And it could take a little bit of getting used to. Don't worry, though, it only takes a couple of days, maybe a week to get used to it. What I like to do is I like to skill everybody up by going over these controls so everybody knows what they do. But if you're already familiar with this information, don't worry. Some of this, movement exercises that we're going to do to get people used to the controls, that could be a lot of fun. See some frowny faces. No, Bryson, it's a good time. And don't worry if you're on a go, if that's why you're frowning, don't worry about it. You're going to have your time. You're going to get a chance to see what it looks like, and some of this stuff you can do too. All right. So, put yourself in teleport mode and you try to keep up. It's a good deal. All right. Now here we got on the right controller and the left controller, you have the grip button. Okay? On both controllers, you have that. This is how you're going to interact with your environment. This is how you're going to grab sparklers, basketballs, fireworks, things like that. And when you interact with the world editor, it's actually going to change the behavior of your right thumbstick. No longer will this turn you if you're holding an object in the world editor, but if you move, forward or back on that right thumbstick, it's going to move the object further away or closer to you. If you move the right thumbstick left or right, it's going to make it so that the object gets larger or smaller. It's going to change the scale of the object, right? Let's see, what else do we have here? We also have, now some of these buttons, they're going to do the same thing. So don't be overwhelmed by all these buttons, right? Because you got this right select button here, but you also have this right trigger. And if you have your left pointer enabled, you have this left select button. When you press any one of these, it's the same thing. So if you hold down one of these buttons right now and you move your hand to the crowd, that's how I know that this is R09 Beef. That's how I know that this is Drew here. We got Peasant Pat, we got over here, we got Hulkwood, we got Olives, we got Braden, we got Hummingbird, we got Jessica in the back there, we got Outlaw. It looks like it's not going so well for Outlaw. Wow, things got really bad. We always lose one. Wow, it's going to be okay. So it's all right. All right, maybe he'll come back to us. Maybe he's just going to get some coffee. He's like, man, I need some coffee, right, Hummingbird? Have some of that. All right, so now what's going to happen here is you also have, if you're having a standing experience while you're in Allspace, it always happens that you walk out past your main menu, right? And somebody in Allspace looks at you and says, hey, open your main menu. And you're going to be like, where is this thing? And you're looking around for it, and that gets old really quick, right? Because you're always looking for this main menu button. But on an Oculus Quest, you have your main menu in your hand at all times. And the way you have this is on your left controller, this flat button right here. What that's going to do is it's going to open and close your main menu. So if you press it once, your menu will open. If you press it again, your menu will close. So it's right there. Now on the Quest, you have to worry about vertical movement. All right. When I first got my Quest, I come in the campfire and I'm feeling like, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I'm walking on air. And then I found out why, right? I looked down, I'm like this high off the ground. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? Right? On the Quest, you got to worry about that. Now, see, if somebody's willing to come up a little bit or, scooch down a little bit, change your vertical height for me so we can show everybody what this looks like. Peasant Pat, you look like you're a good candidate there. Can you go up a little bit there? Let's go up in the air. Let's see that. Let's everybody show that to everybody. All right, so you're up high now, right? Now show everybody what happens when you press down your left thumbstick. Press down that left thumbstick and show what happens. No? Are you not into it? How about, yeah, Olive's got it, all right? You go up like that. Try going up a little bit again, Olives. Let's show everybody what this looks like. Come up here so everybody can see it. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Come up nice and high. There we go. There we go. There we go. Peasant Pat's got it. Now, you press down your left thumbstick, Peasant Pat. Show everybody what happens. Press boom, just like that. So when your vertical height changes, all you do is you press down your left thumbstick, and that'll adjust that for you. So you'll be good to go from there. Now, also you have on your left controller, you have this the trigger button right there. What that's going to cause you to do, whether you're flying or walking, if you're walking along and you squeeze down on a button, you're going to speed up. So that's going to change your speed. It's going to allow you to move fast, right? Which is a lot of fun to do, right? And let's see what else we have. We also have these teleport buttons on both your right and left controller. Now, if you're line dash teleport, which I think is a real fun transition, everybody come over to this wall over here, line up just like that, right? You come on over here. Hey, Megas, how's it going? Well, now what happens is you're going to hold down that teleport button, right? Now, as you're holding down that teleport button, you're going to see a white circle appear on the floor, right? Actually, it's kind of blue, isn't it? And you hold it and you aim across the room. As soon as you let go of that teleport button, boom, you get taken right across the room. Everybody teleport over to me, quick, while this time. Right now, if you press that left teleporter button, aim across the room, you got that circle by the wall, and let go, boom, you get taken right across, just like that, right? You come on over and say hi to Mega Eyes, right? Mega Eyes is a nice guy. All right, now if you hold down both teleport buttons and you make an X on the floor, right, you're gonna see like two circles. And if you let go at the same time, boom, boom, it's like zigzag teleport going on. And the first time I started figuring this stuff out, I was at the Universe, right? And back then it was held in a really large world. And when the event was over, I went exploring. I'm looking around, I'm looking off the edge of the world, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden I fall, right? And as I'm falling, I look over and I see this cliff over there, right? I aim my teleporter, right onto that cliff there, and as soon as I let go of the button, boom, I was thrown to safety right before I could respawn. And you know what? In that moment, I realized that I was getting used to the controls finally, and you will too. I mean, you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a time where you're not even going to think about it anymore. These are just going to be your hands. You won't think about the motions that you make. Like if I say, "Hey, everybody, look at that portal, the RG Beef's home, taking us home." Well, okay, all right, that's cool. Family portals aren't a good thing to open up our events. You probably don't want to do that. We're the moderators that come at you. I don't want to see that happen. So you want to maybe just hit enter or go to, do it that way. That's probably the best way. But anyway, so, where was I? What's my place again? That's not cool. It's not cool at all. All right, yeah, so there's a moment where these become your hands, right? Where you're not even thinking about it anymore. So I say, "Hey, everybody, look at that window over there," right? I just point. I don't think about what buttons I'm pushing. I see, oh, wow, Peasant Pat got the gestures down cold. Look at that. He's going like that. He's just like, "Yo, it's over there." Now he's threatening me. Are you threatening me? All right, let's show everybody how to do this, Peasant, right? Because when you see somebody do something cool like Peasant Pat's doing, what you want to do is mirror them, right? So we got to figure out first, how is Peasant Pat going to fight me like that, right? Well, he's squeezing his third finger on both, but now I'm pointing. Well, this is cool if I want to make the Allspace logo at him and say peace, right? We're both in Allspace. We don't got to fight. All right. Now, if I squeeze the trigger button on both of these, now I'm giving 2 thumbs up. I'm like, "Peasant Pat, your moves are so cool, right? Your moves are so cool, but you're trying to fight me. That's not so cool." Maybe I don't know. Maybe I haven't made up my mind yet. Now, if you press down on your buttons without actually pushing down on them, you just like touch them, your thumbs will go down. You can make this kind of cool dance move like this, it'd be like, like that. And then, and if you just keep them down, well, then maybe now me and Peasant Pat can go at it because I figured it out. And that's really what it is you got to basically mirror people when they do something that you like. Like if somebody's going like this, making a bird, and you like that, just copy it. Just try to do it too, right? And you basically reflect off of one another, and that'll make things a lot, like easier to pick up with the gestures. It just takes time, and you'll start to get it. And eventually you won't think about it anymore. It would just become an automatic behavior. Like if I look at somebody and I go, "Oh, hey, Jay is here," and I go to give Jay a thumbs up, that's all I got to do. I don't even think about what buttons I'm pushing anymore. And, for the record, that is the third finger down and the index finger on the right controller and thumbs up, right? Just like that. So, it's pretty easy to pick up what you just have to keep doing it. And when you see somebody doing something cool that you like, just reflect them and and that'll be your best bet there. All right, now let's see what else we have here. We also have, now don't push this button now because if you do, you're going to disappear and, I'm going to feel it right here. It's not cool. But you have this left flat button right here. And when you press on that, it's going to open up your Oculus main menu, right? Now, if you press this by accident, like you're at Universe, you're dancing, you're having a great time, and you throw your hand out like that, and next thing you know, you're at the Oculus main menu because you pushed that button by accident. There'll be an option to quit, which will close the app, or resume, which will bring you right back into Allspace, which is a great option if you press that button by accident. But it's also a really cool thing to have in case things go wrong, or you just need to leave Allspace in a hurry. Like occasionally, maybe the screen freezes, right? And you turn your head and the whole world moves with you. This can make you feel real sick. This can make you feel really dizzy, and you're going to need to be able to leave Allspace in a hurry. So if you press that flat button on your right controller, you'll get taken out of Allspace, and you hit quit, the app will close, you can restart the app, come back in. This is going to solve most of the problems that you're going to have in Allspace. However, occasionally it's going to happen when you press this button and nothing happens, right? Like maybe you're looking at the edge of your screen, you see a black void on every side. Everywhere you look, there's a black void, and right in the center is a screen with all of your friends frozen in space like this, right? Something's gone horribly wrong. And you press that bottom button, and nothing's happening. In this case, you're going to want to restart your device. And listen, some people, they take it off their head to restart it. I used to do that. And when you go to restart it, it can take about 20-something seconds to get it going again. And if your device isn't in a charge cycle, when you plug it in, it won't light up, and you might think your device is broken. That's what happened to me. And ever since then, whenever I have to restart my device, I always do it while it's on my head. And I can't recommend that method enough. What you do is you take your index finger and you swipe it along the side of your headset while you're wearing it. and you're going to feel this raised up bump, right? And when you press on that bump, you even put your other finger on the other side to counterbalance it, and you just squeeze your fingers together like that for about 4 seconds. And after about 4 seconds, your device turns off, but you don't let go, right? And after about 10 seconds, you start wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long? I don't know. Then about 15 seconds go by, and you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a long time. You wonder how they're doing. Start thinking about that dog you had when you were little, Just thinking back, just thinking about life, really. 22 seconds go by, and, you're just thinking about all the big questions. And then about 23, so you're wondering why that guy's swimming through the floor. You guys see that? He's swimming through the rug. And then all of a sudden you hear a beep. And when you hear that beep, you pull your fingers away, right? And as soon as you pull your fingers away like that, right, see the Oculus logo, and you restart the app, and everything should be taken care of. That's going to solve most of your problems. All right. What can also happen though, right, is sometimes things are going to happen that are going to require what's called a factory reset. But you have to understand the risk involved in doing this. Like, you're going to lose. Have any pictures, you're going to lose those. You're going to have to reinstall all of your apps. Good news, you won't have to buy them again. A good reason to use something like this would be, one time I come out of AltSpace and I saw this notice that said Oculus Rooms is closing. And I'm like, oh no, it was Oculus Home is closing. And I said, okay, because it was the only option that you could push. There was one blue button that said, okay. So I pressed it. And then it just said loading, right? So you got a hand going up there, Outlaw? We'll be taking questions at the end, so don't worry about it. Hang on, we'll be right with you. So you got this, this comes up that says loading. I restarted my device. It still said loading. I didn't know what was going on, so I asked my good friend Google about it, and Google said, listen, everybody else is having this problem, and the only thing that's going to fix it is a factory reset. So I did it, and in doing that, you lose all your pictures and everything else. But it's a good, it's a good thing to know, because it's a way of putting your device back the way it was when you got it. All right. Now, so use extreme caution when you're doing that. Now, if you've been using, if you're here today, you're already familiar with the Guardian system because, you did the tour, you danced with the robot, you played with the blimp, had a good time in there. It's a great tour. And, so you're really comfortable with that. But what you may not know is how to use the Guardian system to your advantage in AltSpace. Like, let's say you're new to VR and you get dizzy. When you're dizzy in VR, it helps if you just look at your hand and focus on it like that. Right? And then when the dizziness starts to pass, you pull your hand away and you take the world in again. And you see, you're like, okay, yeah, that's not so bad. And you can stay in a little bit longer. But another cool thing to do is, listen, anytime you mess with your Guardian system, I've seen this a lot. Somebody will be walking along in VR, and all of a sudden, they'll go like this, boom, because they hit the wall in the real world, right? You got to be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to damage your equipment, right? So what you do is try to lead with your hands. You lead with your hands. When you go up to the edge of your Guardian, you see that grid appear in the air in front of you, right? But you can still touch your thumbsticks. So you can still move around in VR while you're still holding that grid. You can still see that grid. And what you can do is you can move around here, right? So let's say the grid is in my real world wall, right? So I go up to my real world wall. There we go. Why is that hard to say today? And I go up my hands like this and I see the grid. So I move the thumbsticks around in VR and I line up this display screen with my real world wall, right? Like that. And then, okay. So now as I walk around in the space, right, what could happen is, like, let's say, I don't know, I fall off the stage. Oh no. Now all of a sudden the audience sees that I've fallen off the stage and everyone gets hostile. They start coming at me. They start surrounding me. And like, this is like a cue to do that. Mess with me, try to make me dizzy. See if you can do it. All right. Well, see, as long as I can see that display, which I still can, and it's pretty good getting up high, but you can't block me. I can still see it. Right? It's a big wall, man. It's a big space. So as long as I can see that real world wall there, right, I'm not going to get dizzy, because what I've done is I've anchored myself to the real world. All right. And that's a really great technique to make you feel a lot more steady in VR, especially if you're new. All right. Another cool thing you can do is you can actually transition between a room scale to a seated experience without ever leaving AltSpace. All right. What I mean by this is, like, all right, so like, let's say I'm up here, and I'm moving around and I'm tired. I've been presenting all day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the edge of my Guardian, right? And I'm going to stick my hands up there. I'm going to make sure I got enough room to stick my head through it. And when I stick my head through it, right, the pass-through camera goes off and I can see my real world environment and get a sip of coffee, that's good stuff right there. And I can see I got my chair right over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go walk out of my play space and I'm going to go, like, sit in my chair right there, and I've got this blue button that asks me if I want to if I want to have a stationary experience right now. I press on that blue button and I'm, back in VR, right? Except I'm still in AltSpace. I never left, right? One time I was moderating this event, because this works in the other direction too. I was moderating an event, and and I felt like getting up and walking around. That's a big deal for me. So I did it. I got up and I figured I'd get up and then walk into my boundary. But sometimes on the Quest, your Quest can lose the boundary that you've got, and they want you to redraw it. Changing light levels for whatever reason. The headset can't tell where it is, so it wants you to make a fresh one. But I was like, the event was almost over. I didn't think I'd be able to get back in, so I'm worried about it. I start drawing my boundary out again, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is bad. I got to get back in there. What am I going to do? And I'm drawing my boundary, and I'm wondering, why is my play area so big? And I don't know, but I'm moving around. I'm drawing that line, and as soon as that loop closes and the grid comes up, I find not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in alt space. I never left. All anybody sees when you're doing this is they'll see your avatar frozen like this. Now, I did this one time when I was on stage. I got up to this part, and I crashed right then, and everybody's in the audience going, wow, he's so committed to the role. And you look at his dedication. Just he's so into it, and that's the thing, right? So what can happen is when you're frozen like that, all anyone sees is you basically having an out of avatar experience. And it's a good way to think of it. You're leaving the avatar behind, you're going into the real world. Just like, when you come into VR, you're kind of leaving your real world body behind, and now you're wearing your avatar. It's a good way to look at it. And you can move back and forth between the seated and, and the room scale experiences effortlessly. And this is going to allow you to be, comfortable in VR, which is awesome. All right, now, one cool thing I'm going to show you, this is completely useless, all right? So if you want to drift off, this is probably the time. But what's going to happen is if you actually stick your head through, and make sure you got enough room to do it, right? If you stick your head through your boundary there, where your pass-through camera goes off, and you can see the real world, if you do this slowly enough, you're going to see both realities at the same time, all right? It's very cool. And this will allow you to see alt space avatars in your real-world environment. And it's pretty cool to see your friends standing in your living room or your office, wherever your play space happens to be. Sometimes that can be pretty unusual places. A few weeks ago, we had a guy in here that actually used alt space from the back of his truck. He was a truck driver, and when he took a break, he'd go into the back of the truck and he'd come into alt space. And I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah, wherever your play space happens to be, it's cool to see alt space avatars in that environment. So you just find that sweet spot, move your head through really slowly, all right, and you'll see, that avatars in the real world are about 6 feet tall, all right? That's pretty cool, and it's just really neat. It gives you a sense of scale, and it gives I don't know, I just think it's a cool thing to do. All right, now, the cool thing about the Quest is it just works, right? It doesn't mean it can't work better. So if you're, if you're on a Quest and, you wanted to try some of the accessories that they have for it to enhance the experience, they have some cool stuff, like the earbuds. They kind of hang down from the side there, they're kind of like earrings for your headset that make you look like you're fancy when you're in VR, right? And when I ordered mine, it took about a month for them to arrive. And so in that time, I got used to how great the sound is on the Quest. There's no feedback, the sound is very rich and full. So when I got my earbuds, I really wasn't expecting anything different. And I went to the campfire to test it out. And did you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire? I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. I went over to the fence there, and I could hear the water rushing by. And it turns out there's a lot of ambient sounds in alt space that makes the experience way more immersive. It's awesome. Another device or accessory you can get, right, is when I first got my Quest, listen, a lot of people told me it was uncomfortable. I know somebody that returned their Quest because they said it was uncomfortable, right? And when I first got my Quest, I thought it was uncomfortable too, right? And it's because I see a hand going up there. Jay, if you have any questions, we'll be taking them in a minute, right? Or maybe you're agreeing. Maybe you thought it was uncomfortable too, right? So what happened was I got a sore on my head from it, right on my forehead, because I got these high cheekbones. It's like digging into my forehead. And, it was pretty uncomfortable. And I kept coming into alt space, and I'm hosting this event, and I'm getting up to the part and I'm telling the people all the things. And I get up there and I'm telling them that. And, what happened was I felt this moisture in my headset. And I'm like, what is going on? But, I'm professional. I kept on going. But the whole time I'm wondering, what is this? What's this moisture? And I know what you're thinking, all right? But you know what? Michael Forrest doesn't sweat, ever. It wasn't that. So I couldn't figure out what it was. I finished out the event. And as soon as I'm done, my wife comes in, in and asks, how did it go? She's cool like that, right? And I lift up my headset and I'm like, well, and before I could finish, she goes, go look in the mirror. And she did it in that voice that means you pretty much have to. So I go over there, and I look in the mirror, and I see that I got these 2 red rings around my eyes. It turned out that the sore on my forehead had opened up and actually bled into my headset. I know it's gross. I know it's disgusting. I cleaned it up really good. Hummingbird hates when I do this bit, but it's really, I cleaned it up really good. I promise. And I knew then I had to do something about this. So I found a company, and you know what? I got a good bit out of it because I will have to walk around for the next week going, alt space, I bled for you. And then I'd hold up my fist, I'd be all dramatic, and everybody do that, hold up your fist, and all rage, and be like, alt space, I bled for you. And then just do like that whole rage thing like that. Which means everybody can do that. Yeah, here we go. We got, Alice is real committed to it. Look at that. Alice is really in touch with your rage yet. That's beautiful. Good job. Look at him. He's all down like this. No, alt space, I bled for you. Do it like that. So I knew how to do something about this, right? So I found a company called VR Cover. They make 2 inserts for your headset. One of them prevents light bleed. See what I did there? Right? But I ended up going with the other one, the cloth one. You've got, they come with two. One can be cleaned while the other one's in use. And it kind of feels like I have a face in a pillow, but it's coming from Thailand. So I had to wait for like a week for it to arrive. And in that week, I learned that the oils in your face actually condition the headset. It turns out, and Oculus doesn't advertise this enough or really at all, there's a breaking in period. And basically, it's this, your head, and that'll, oh, it looks like everyone's frozen. Did everybody freeze? Oh, wow. Did everybody just freeze?
I think we're experiencing technical
Whoa, that
difficulties.
was weird. Did everybody else just disappear too? Or was it just me? Yeah, one, two, everybody else?
It was just you.
Just me. Oh, just me. I just disappeared upstairs. All right. Apparently, AltSpace doesn't like when I do that bit about bleeding for AltSpace. Okay. All right. Message received, admins. Yeesh, go easy. Okay. All right. Well, as it happens, where was I? We've got you've got these prescription inserts, right? Oh wait, yeah. So just to be sure you guys understand this, the oils from your face actually, condition the headset or to make it more comfortable over time. So if you get the urge to alter your headset, change the balance by putting it on a counterweight or an external battery pack or something like that, give it a couple of weeks of use first. Because what's going to happen is if you change the weight and then it goes through the break-in period, you're going to be like, oh, it's still uncomfortable, because you got to give it a chance. So just give it a couple of weeks to get it used to it. And then, and then after that, if you want to change, the balance by putting on any of that kind of stuff, then that's a good time to do that. You also have these prescription inserts that'll protect your lenses and your glasses if you wear them. You also have this travel case that'll keep your device safe because listen, if you, if you spend a lot of time in AltSpace, you make friends and connections. If something happens to your headset, like maybe some sunlight got on the lenses and it damaged your headset, it's not going to be like losing your toaster, right? It's going to cut off access to your friends. And if you're having any, kind of social experience in here, you would experience this as a deep loss. So it's important to take care of your headset. The box it comes in is great, but if you're going to be moving around a lot, the travel case, you can't do better than that. If you want to try any of these products, you can find them. We have links to them. If you go to altvr.com, the AltSpace website, you'll see in the upper left where it says events, right? Next to that's the word channels. If you press on channels, you'll see on the second page, right at the very bottom, you're going to see that we have Ravenhall events there. And if you click on Ravenhall events, you'll be taken to our event channel. And there you can see join Discord if you want to help us put on events like this, or, you'll also see, all these products listed there with links to them if you want to try them. And you'll also see the most important button there ever, right? The subscribe button. If you press the subscribe button, it tells AltSpace you like our content. It lets us know that you enjoy our content. So it's a great way to say thank you. We don't get paid to do this, but every time that number goes up, it makes it feel so good. So if you could just press that subscribe button, it would mean the world to us. All right, so now we are going to finally take your questions, your comments. Maybe you've tried some accessories and like tell us about it. Maybe you've solved some problems that I haven't mentioned, and you'd like to talk about it. That's completely cool because we're a little over on time, but we are now going to make a raise hand button appear in your lower right as if by magic. There we go. All right, so if you have any of those, questions or something you'd like to say, just press that raise hand button in your lower right and you'll get on my list there. And as soon as I see your name there, I'll call on you. Anybody? Oh, that's weird. Nobody's pushing the button yet? Okay. Oh, here we go. We got people coming in now. Let's see. We got Braden. What's up? Braden, you're on the air. You should be on the air. Okay. There we go. What's up, Braden? No? Yes? They are.
Okay.
What's up, Braden?
I've had the Quest for about, I guess, 7 days now, for a week, and
Okay.
I've been on for about 2.5 hours probably. Is it normal to have like a headache or something?
Well, you know what? I find that, it's for a lot of people, it takes some time to get used to VR. It could be that your straps are too tight, right? But really, I think a good rule of thumb, and not just with VR, but if something's making you uncomfortable, don't do it, right? So if you've been in for a couple hours and you start getting a headache, come out, get a drink of water. Maybe you're dehydrated, just it's a good idea to, not overdo it and kind of build up a tolerance. Like when I first started coming into VR, not only would I get dizzy, right, which I don't get dizzy anymore, but I used to get dizzy when I come into VR. And I used to also, my eyes would hurt when I come out. I'd be like, oh, my eyes hurt from it. It takes a little while to build up a tolerance to it, so, give it time. But if you're uncomfortable, just get out of all space and go get a drink of water or something like that. And then after you feel better, then maybe you come back in, give it another try. All right, let's see. Who else do we have here? We have let's see. We have Colin. Let's see. Where are you, Colin? There we go, Colin. Colin. Where are you? Colin. Where
I
are
have
you?
an Oculus
There.
Go. Can I still use it?
You're on an
I have
Oculus
Ocu-
Go. Can you still use it? Yeah, of course you can. I actually have both of my headsets, and it's not uncommon for people to go back and forth, especially in all space when you like build a world and you want to test that world. Maybe you want to see how's this world going to perform on a Go. So you come in on your Go and you see how it performs, and then you come in and see how it performs on your Quest. And now you know that you've built a world that performs good for both the Go and the Quest, and that gives you kind of an advantage. So you can alternate. I mean, maybe you don't want to have like the 6 stuff. Maybe you just want to sit in like that Netflix theater and watch a movie, with your head back like that, right? You could do that, and that's probably maybe a more comfortable experience on the Go, because it's not worried about the up-down movement, right? So you got to realize that every single device is going to have its strengths and weaknesses, and so depending on what you're doing, you let that choose let that be which device you're going to use. Let it choose that way. All right, got time for one more question here. Let's see, we've got Joseph. Joseph, what's going on? Where are you, Joseph? There you are. Hey, Joseph, what's going on?
Hey, so this is actually my first day with the Oculus Quest, and I wear glasses regular. Do you think it's better to put on the extender that comes with the Oculus
Yes.
Quest, or do you think I should go for the prescriptions that you can get?
And believe it or not, I'd say do both, because the spacer, I think it's a lot more comfortable, personally. I've tried it both ways, and I think the spacer is, even if you're not wearing glasses, is just a more comfortable experience. So I would put in the spacer, because it's not really that thick, especially if you're wearing one of these inserts, that can help a lot to have the spacer in there. So I would definitely do the spacer, but, and then see if your glasses are, touching the lenses, or you feel like it's going to scratch and you're worried about it, then give the prescription inserts a try. I mean, they're pretty expensive, but from what I've heard, they're absolutely worth doing. People swear by them. So it's a good thing to do. Listen, we got time for one more if you guys want, but before we head out, I've lost my props. Oh no. There's we usually take everybody flying at the end of our events. And so, today's no different. We also take questions there. So if I didn't call and you don't feel bad, you can ask us there. There's a flight tool item that if you're on a two-handed device like Quest that you have access to. And so when we teach people to fly, if you'd like to learn how to use this flight tool, I'll show you. All of the way it works is if you draw lines with the pen here in the air, you'll move in that direction. If you do small lines, you move slowly. If you do long lines, you move very quickly in that direction that you're moving. Whoa, you know what? I am not prepared for that ceiling. The ceiling in the other space used to be higher. This is still a new set. I keep putting it into it. Got to get used to that. All right, so we are going to head out now, and we're going to do this as the way we came in. We're going to do it with the music. So let me see your best moves as we go out that back door into that blue load screen light, and join us at the Ravenhill Flight Academy. If I didn't call on you and if you have any questions, just join us over there, and we'll take them there, okay? So, and if you've learned anything today, please share that information. It's how we keep this alt space thing going, okay? Thank you, everybody, for coming. Get that music going. Here we go. And I'm telling everybody into the portal. Let me see your pile in here. Let me see your best moves as you go in. All right, there you go. Jessica's moving good. All right, Oakwood's moving good. Look at that, Pat's moving good. Thanks, Jay, you're moving awesome. Joseph, just frozen. Okay, we'll catch up.